to this. I'll tell you what, this one might as well have been called the Sad Batch. Bad Batch episode 13, Infested. To Sid's bar, the Batch finds Roland Duran, an up-and-comer in the crime world, has usurped Sid's position as kingpin on Old Mantel. He sets up a deal with the crime syndicate, the Pikes, for a spice trade-off. Sid hatches a plan to steal the spice. Promising the deal, they sneak through an infested mine shaft and almost make it out before the Earlings that infest the cave attack, and they lose the spice. The Pikes take Omega hostage, and the Batch has to retrieve the spice in the infested caves, which they do, and Omega argues for Duran's life to be saved, and he is left with a broken horn, and we are given the lesson that not everyone is what they seem. What was your thoughts on this episode, Greg?
I just, for it to be like the penultimate episode,
that
was rough.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Nothing. I kept waiting for something to happen, and I'm like, nothing's happening. This is just like they have 2 missions instead of 1, and the second mission is just the same mission over again.
Yeah.
It felt lazy. I will honestly say I just didn't really like the episode. I don't feel like anything happened. I don't think we got anything from it. There wasn't even like a real funny moment to me. Like sometimes something gets saved in this with like a funny moment, but it was just like anytime something happened that was maybe geared towards being funny, it just felt forced. So yeah, I just didn't enjoy this episode. It wasn't actiony enough. It wasn't funny enough. And so there was like nothing, and there was no like, oh my gosh, we have 1 episode left moment either. So I think it hurt. Yeah. What did you think, Brian?
Waste of time episode.
Yeah.
This could have fallen anywhere in the run. I almost think that, okay, so this was 13. We had the 2-part episode with the rescue on Ryloth on 11 and 12. I almost feel like this episode should have slotted in as 11 and then bumped those back, because we did get that at the end of the last episode where it was like Crosshair's coming for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have this sort of 2-episode thing where we had Hera and Chopper in the connective tissue to Rebels, and then you had this sort of like Crosshairs coming, and then for this to be, like you said, the penultimate episode, and then have it just kind of fall really flat. Like there wasn't even any relevant character development. It was like, Legacy's the good in people. We already knew that. Hunter's very cautious. We already knew that. You know, Wrecker's kind of dumb, afraid of heights, and blows things up. We've known that from the jump. So, yeah, I was really bummed out by this episode.
Yeah,
because I thought too. minus 1 or 2 episodes that we clearly identified as these are very fillery. It's been a pretty good run, and then for this to just kind of fall flat was definitely a disappointment. And whereas, like I'd said with some of the other episodes, like it gets you thinking about Star Wars in a different way. This episode didn't have that quality, even like in a little bit. And it was just like, I felt like, I'm like, how are they going to resolve? The last episode is going to have to be longer. It's just going to have to be.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't understand how they're going to resolve, you know, a lot of the loose threads that they've set up with a 25-minute long episode.
Right. It has to be longer, unless they're just saying like, hey, we'll tie up 1 loose end, and then second season, you know, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I literally said this while I was watching. It's like the last 2 episodes should have been this episode. Even if it was just 13, I think it would have been better to make like that 2-part 1 episode and make it longer, whatever, and then have this before it, you know, because this episode just, I don't know. Like I said, I thought it was lazy. And I know that happens with, you know, shows. I understand that there's a lazy show pretty much of anything, you know, even if it's good. There's always a lazy episode, but this one just was like, there's nothing redeeming about it, and I hope the last episode gives us something. It doesn't give me a lot of hope, I'll be honest. So like now I'm kind of like, what are we going to get with this last episode?
Well, there's no season 2 confirmed at this point.
Right.
So in my mind, here are the three, in order of importance, the three main kind of loose ends that need to be tied up. And the reality of it is there's probably other ones that you could point to. The first is that we saw what we pretty both agreed upon with the Trace and Rafa episode, that they were telling someone who you can see like their leg, like, hey, there's these guys that are out there and they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we were both pretty sure that that was Ahsoka and that she was eventually going to show up.
Yes.
Obviously, the conflict with Crosshair is coming to a head. I mean, that's definitely going to be resolved in the next episode. But then the third one is like, how important is Omega to the rest of the story overall? They make her seem like she's pretty damn important. And so I don't understand how they're going to resolve those three things. If they choose not to resolve the Ahsoka thing, then that's kind of just like a dumb tease that they did.
Right.
But I don't understand how in a 22 to 25 minute episode, as all the episodes minus the first one have been, how that's going to resolve both the conflict with Crosshair. Is he going to be redeemed? Are they going to be able to get his chip out of him to make him kind of fall back in line with that crew? Or is he going to continue to be the loyal soldier? And then also figure out like, hey, this is why Omega is so important to like the story as a whole. So I'm a little concerned. I'm hoping that the last episode is going to be kind of more akin to the length of the first one so that they can resolve all of these loose threads, because like I said, there is no second season confirmed. So unless we get that, you know what I mean? Like in the next couple of days, I know they've done that a little bit. Like with Loki, they confirmed season 2 at the end of season 1. But yeah, I'm a little cautious here, like you said, moving into the finale here for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not stoked right now.